Hey guys, what's up? So today we're going to be looking at histograms, and it says a histogram consists of a number of rectangular bars which can be of different widths. These bars are always drawn vertically and are drawn side to side, right? That's the most important part about these. They're drawn side to side without leaving any space, since there is now a regular scale along the horizontal axis. So the absence of a bar implies that the frequency of that observation or variable is zero. In the case of a histogram, frequency is always plotted along the vertical axis and the variable on the horizontal axis. Alright guys, so it's really simple. So we draw a histogram side by side, and usually you would use a graph paper to draw these histograms. But I'm just going to give you an example here. Let's just say we have some variables here along with the vertical axis. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? All right, so let's say we have A down here, then we have B, then we have C, then we have D, then we have E, and these are the variables we're looking at. So when you draw the histogram, guys, let's say A has 1, you would literally draw it this way. And the same thing for B. Let's say B has 3, then you would draw it this way. And for C, let's say C has 2, you will draw it this way. And hence why it says side by side. So for the example here where it says, so the absence of a bar implies that the frequency or observation of the variable is 0. So let's say in this case D is 0. We wouldn't draw anything here. Alright guys? And let's say E is 6. We would actually draw a bar right up to 6 and bring it across. And of course, we'll draw it much neater when you're actually doing it on a graph paper, right? Cool. So that's pretty much what a histogram is, guys. It's not really difficult, and we're gonna look at a live example right now. Cool. So let's look at a histogram. All right, guys. Let's do an example. All right, guys. So we're looking at an example here for this histogram. And it says the frequency table shows the number of points gained by NFL teams in a series of Sunday night football games. So this is American football games, and the number of points, 3 points has 1 game, 7 points has 3 games, 14 points has 8 games, 19 points has 10 games, 23 points has 3 games, 29 points has 2 games, and so on. And it says how many games have they played so far for the season. So this is the question here. It starts right here. How many games have they played for the season? So clearly, all we would need to do is add up the frequency in terms of the number of games to find the total, right? So the total games is equal to the addition of the frequency. So 1 plus 3 would give us 4, plus 8 would give us 12, plus 10 would give us 22, plus 3 would give us 25, 25 plus 2 would give us 27, plus 4 would give us 31. So it's 32 games in total. All right, guys. All right, so that's all we have to put here, 32 games. That's the answer for number 1. And it says draw a histogram to represent the data. So that's where we draw the histogram, guys. And clearly, usually we'd use a graph paper, but in this case, we're just going to estimate it, right? And we're going to put the number of points on the x-axis because that's the variable we're using, right? So we're going to start with 3, 7, 14, 19, 23, 29, 40, and 52. All right. And the frequency is 1, well, yes, we'd have to, well, we'd actually count this out. This is actually the horizontal axis, so we need to actually count this out. So we'd have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Let's put 11 here, just in case. All right, guys, so for the first one, it's 1. So we're going to draw a box here. And for the second one, it's 3. The frequency of 7 is 3, so we're going to draw another box here. Well, let me actually use the line. Um, yes, let's use the line thing here because it will look way neater. All right, we want it to look as neat as we can. All right, great. And then for 14, it's actually at 8, which is pretty high up here. So let me just put that here. 14. Then for 19, it's actually 10. So that's right about here. And let me draw it over. And we have 3 for 23, which is down here. So right here, down to 23. Then we have 2 for 29, so we have a 2 here. So let's bring this right across and bring it down. Then we have 4, which is actually up here for 40. So this is 4. And the last one is 1 for 52, which in this case is right here. All right, guys. So it doesn't look perfect in this example on the screen because I'm not using a graph paper. But when you actually use a graph paper, guys, this would actually look stunning, right? It would be really pretty when you put it on a graph paper. I'll probably do another video with a physical example of a graph paper. And this is the histogram, guys. This is pretty much what we needed to draw from the results. And usually I would put a title here saying histogram representing histogram of Sunday night football games, right? Histogram of Sunday night football games. And you would write that as a title. Okay, so we drew the histogram. Now it says if a team is chosen at random, calculate the probability that it gained less than 23 points. So, okay, so to find the probability here, guys, we need to find the relative frequency, which is equal to, if we remember the formula for the relative frequency, it should be the frequency of the event over the total frequency, right? So less than 23 points would actually be 19, 14, 7, and 3. So that would actually give us the frequency for 1 plus 3 plus 8 plus 10 all over the total frequency, which in this case is 32. And we should actually get 22 over 32, which is equal to 0.6575. Okay, so that's the probability. And I'm going to leave the relative frequency as a fraction in this case. And the second one now says exactly 10 points. So in the case of exactly 10 points, the frequency is, no, exactly 19 points. So the second one here, guys, says exactly 19 points. And in the case where it's 19 points, the frequency is actually 10. So the relative frequency is equal to 10 over 32. And I'm going to leave it as a fraction. And my answer should actually be 0.3125. Okay. Now for number 3, it says greater than 19 points. So if it says greater than 19 points, then it would actually be 23. Right, it would actually be 23, 29, 40, and 52. So the relative frequency would be 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 over 32. And 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 is actually the same as 10 over 32. So we would end up getting 0.3125 as the probability. And the last one here, we have at least 7 points, right? At least 7 points. So in the case of at least 7 points, we are going to have a situation for the relative frequency where it has to be at least 7 points. So it's either 7 points and upwards, right? So that would give us the frequency for 3 plus 8 plus 10 plus 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 all over 32. And that would actually give us 31 over 32. And the relative frequency would actually be 0.9687, right? And that would be the probability. Okay, guys? So, by the way, guys, you can always multiply all of these probabilities by 100, and you can get the probability as a percentage if you want to, but I left them as a fraction. Okay, guys? All right, cool. So, okay, so that's pretty much the gist of this whole histogram thing. They also mix in some probabilities with the histogram. And it's pretty simple, guys. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is draw the bars on each other, side to side, and then you solve for the probabilities based on what you get for your questions. Okay? All right, guys. So I'll see you in the next lecture, and thank you so much for your time.
That's it. And I'll see you in the next lecture. And remember to do your best, and God will do the rest.